Hello everyone, my name is Chris. I'm in the middle of creating a world called SUBNET, and I'm using Obsidian to do that. Obsidian's quite a powerful tool. I've only recently got into it, but as a programmer, I'm struggling a little bit with the fact that we can't really have reusable things. We can have templates, but we can't reuse code. Everything gets inserted into individual notes, and if you've got hundreds of characters, for example, in this instance, all the characters would have all of the same code in them. So what I'm trying to do is figure out how I can inject code and use shared code so I can just change it in one place like a programmer normally would. So in this instance, I'm going to show off a unit of measure calculator. So I've spent probably a day and a half on this, and it's pretty cool. So I'm going to replace this weight element here. This is using MetaBind, by the way, and I can change this to any value I want. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into it. You can see weight is bound to physical weight LB. Now, I don't really know what weight I want to use for the character. Some characters might be in kilograms, some might be in pounds. Others that are tiny, for example, if it's a fantasy world, might be in nanograms or whatever you would call it, you know? So I want to be able to customize that as I go along without having to update every single character template. So I'm going to delete that, and I'm going to insert this new template model using templater. And this is the unit measure calculator you can see here. And then it asks me for the type or the category. That is mass in this instance. And I want to give it a name. So remember it was called physical underscore weight underscore LB. In this instance, I'm just going to call it weight because I don't know what the unit of measure is. And decimal places is how many decimal places it will resolve to. That's it. I've done it now. I've inserted my new template. You can see there's not much code there. We've got a little bit of data bind here at the end. And we've got a little bit of, data view, We've got a little bit of meta bind here. And we've got an option query that queries the mass folder inside my lookups folder. So you can see mass came from the thing that I selected. I've got unit and measure here, which has a list of all the notes for different types of mass. And I can give all of these different front matter. See, this is just really basic, but this gives me the ability to choose a note. Now, what this now does on the front end, as you can see, I've got a little bit of an error here, which is fine because we haven't selected anything yet. There's nothing in the weight now because it's a new front matter property. If we go up here, you can see there is no weight front matter. Let's do a quick search just to show you. So you've got weight LB, but that's it. We haven't got anything else. Got the weight property here. What I'm going to do is switch to view mode. I'm going to enter my number. Let's do 205 pounds. And you can see now what happens is it resolves itself, and now I've got this lovely little info pop-up that gives me a calculation of sensible weights. I mean, tons isn't really sensible, but you know, you can adjust that in the background. Grams also probably isn't sensible, but it would make sense. This does go the entire range of mass. So if you look on the left-hand side over here, look at this, you can see grams are listed, kilograms, milligrams aren't listed, but they would be if, for example, I chose, let's choose grams, and then you'll see milligrams listed now at the bottom. So it relatively chooses what sensible weights based on a range. And that's it. Now, if we look at the front matter in the background, front matter is now selected and populated here. We've got a link to a note, and you can see up here, character template, now linked to the pound. Now, this would be Byron Alexis or whatever the character's name would be. This is the type of character and a few other things that are going on. But this in this instance, it's now linked to pound. So that's all pretty cool. This is completely configurable. You can do what you want. These are all just ones that I've created myself. Got areas and hectares and things like that. We're using MetaBind to show the values, etc. I want to show you how this works in the background. So if I open up Visual Studio Code, we have a JavaScript script, and all that does is take in the 3 inputs from the template, which I'll show you in a second, and then uses a global constants file. That global constants file is here, and it uses all of these values that I've inserted all these values down to here, and each one of them is under a category. This can be arranged in many different ways, but this is the way I've chosen to do it for a quick demonstration. And these are all based on set values. So in this instance, let's have a look, we've got volume is based on litre, this instance. Length is based on meters, and this is the conversion value between meters and all these. It's pretty simple, but it's a bit of a setup to set up. So all of this does is read the constants, loop through everything, does some validation, and then basically outputs some HTML right at the end. I'll post this code elsewhere. Now I also have a snippets file, so a CSS file. I have been trying to get it working alongside the JavaScript file, but it's not proved to be easy, so I've just stuck it in the snippets for now. And this is just overriding some styles and giving me some custom styles. So you can see all these here, for example, are the colors that I'm showing on the UI. If I go back to Obsidian and I show you the actual template itself, the template here uses templater here to essentially show the prompts and then replace some values in the data view, inline data view output. See here I'm looking under the UOM plus the category, and it's using links, so all of this links to other documents. And we're passing in these values here into the data view. Quite happy with how it's ended up. There was a little bit of faffing, it's not particularly well documented, but I've got to a good point with it and I'm quite happy. I hope you found this useful. Thank you very much.